Yo everyone, today I thought I'd talk about Wuthering Waves and what I hope for the future of the game. I might be a small minority of the player base when it comes to my difficulty based outlook, but I thought it would be interesting to talk about my hopes for the game. So without further ado, let's talk. Dodging is one of the most common concepts in gaming, going back to the birth of video games. So why do I want dodging to be a need when we know it's in the game? There's a vast difference between dodging in Mario and dodging in Dark Souls. My margins. So do I want Dark Souls-like dodging in this game? Of course not. However, I would at least want it to be something you have to do, a necessity. Genshin is a great example of dodging being an afterthought. You can dodge in Genshin, but the later you get into the game, you'll need to do it less and less. I want Wuthering Waves to pose questions, decisions, and challenges to the player. I'd be extremely happy to see a death screen when I'm not dodging well. In my eyes, I deserve it. Another way of putting it is, get good. Games are generally easier, going for fun for a general audience. But I want a game to make me think, improve, and give me the sweet taste of victory after working it out. The lifeline of all service games. MMOs show you can make a system that uses dungeons and vary the difficulty to make it harder or easier. Raids could be translated as hard pieces of content, which really does question the player and requires them to experience the trial and error phase. I am aware I am very focused on difficulty, but it's important to reaffirm I don't want to be one-shot by enemies. All I want is a repercussion for not being immersed. The most important thing is to have content, which is changing, but also content that stays around. If done well, there is an extremely good chance we see a game to rival Genshin. Lastly, I think it's important that the content is of course accessible. For higher difficulties you can just gift greater rewards, like some money or some XP. If I was selfish, I'd want roles for getting through the content, but there are opposites to me, so there should of course be a balance between the two sides. As with any game, the developers need to communicate with their player base to understand issues and attempt to address them. There will be a lot of bugs at launch, errors, and it's not unheard of that games simply can't deal with the amount of people connecting to their servers. As the saying goes, a first impression is everything. This is true to a certain extent. For casual players it is everything. More serious gacha players are usually a little bit more lenient, aside the really hardcore ones. Some characters may enter the game being brokenly strung, but their awareness to these mistakes are imperative to create a huge success. Genshin generally listens to a degree, but from what I know, some gacha developers are more involved. If Wuthering Waves can aim on this point and are able to implement fixes, the game would be in an amazing spot. But Wuthering Waves team has to look online and see complaints and then address them. As far as I'm aware, when a character is released, you can't change it much? I'm not sure, but if this is the case, it just makes it even more important. A few mistakes could lead to some power imbalances, and a character could go to SSS class, which will cause issues. But, in the end of the day, these are just some of my points. If this gets out in time, we are 2 days away. I'll be playing at launch and will likely record something about the game afterwards. So, if you're busy, check out the channel and I'll let you know my thoughts. Yo everyone, if you make it to the end of the video, then thank you very much for watching, I really appreciate it. This is my first attempt at making a video inside of, DaVinci. So it might be a little bit choppy here and there, but I've used it before, and I've used a lot of different editing softwares before. It's been a lot easier to make this video, definitely, but I do think that some of the transitions and such are a bit iffy, some bits might be a bit out of place, the pacing might be off, and if that's the case, I'm very sorry for that. But I will keep working on it, and hopefully, eventually my long-form videos will get to a point where they are similar to how they were before, or better, of course, I'm aiming for better. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be playing Wuthering Waves, so I will let you guys know. If it is a flop, then I will go back to Honkai Star Rail. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.